Welcome to SoundMojo, a Watch Mojo channel right here on YouTube. I'm your host, Cassius Morris, joined with the regular SoundMojo crew, the king himself, Joe Pacheco, joining me. Also, Frank Pavan. What's up, guys?
What's up?
So it was just Canada Day, guys. How was you guys' Canada Day before we kick off?
Super chill, super cool, man. Amazing weather. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a good weekend to decompress, just get away. Always nice to have those like extended weekends, so no complaints there. But Cassius, speaking of weekends, you had a fun weekend yourself, didn't you?
I certainly did. I don't know if decompression was part of it, but it was definitely a very fun weekend. This weekend we had a very exclusive opportunity here at SoundMojo to go and cover the summer block party at Union Hall 2021 that was thrown by Boudang and Night Shift Entertainment, some incredible promoters here in Alberta, Canada. And the reason they're so incredible, especially this time around, is because they managed to throw the first major concert in Canada, the first actual music festival in Canada in 15 months since the pandemic lockdown for COVID-19. So this was a huge event personally for me, for the country. And I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I mean, it was great.
So let me ask you this question, okay? Because at least here where Joe and I are located in Quebec, like nothing near a live concert like what you experienced, and I'm sure we'll be having clips playing in the background to make the viewers understand what it was like. But over here, if we're having like even outdoor events, it's stations where you're not even allowed to roam from stage to stage. You have to book your ticket and you have to book your stage and you have to stay in your specific zone, if that makes it clear enough.
Interesting.
But what you experienced was like a full-on
normal,
fans at the gates or right below the stage, and it's like we were brought back in time a little bit.
100%.
Yeah.
No, you're right, Frank. You're painting the picture. There was no social distancing, and again, people can do what they want, but there was no requirements for this. There were a couple of people who decided to wear masks. For the majority of the event, I was wearing a mask. There were moments that I perhaps wasn't, if a picture surfaces somewhere. But really, I mean, it was very different than, you're right, anything that's ever happened in the last 15 months. And, for me, it was odd because any moment where perhaps my mask was off, I was drinking some water or something, I kind of felt like somebody was going to ask me to leave at any moment. Or I say, hey, sir, like, you got to wear a mask. What are you doing? And it felt very strange for me, being in an environment like that, because the pandemic shutdown, it felt so long for me. Like, it felt like it would never end. And every time I watched concert footage, like, it was hurting my heart because I was like, I really truthfully don't know if this would ever come back. And to be at this event, like, yes, it felt so long in the moment, but it almost felt like I snapped my fingers and skipped the entire COVID. And it was almost like it had never happened in a sense. Does that make any sense? Like,
yeah,
totally. Because like I feel like even I see people going out. Myself, I went to a movie theater on Saturday and watched an anime, with my kids, and it was like, it just felt, it's weird. It's like you said, I feel like it was a dream. Nothing but a dream,
sure.
And it's like you just get in there. I mean, you still have to have your masks when you're walking inside, but once you're in the theater sitting down, you can take off your masks. It was nobody there technically, but like, I mean, compared to what I saw, from the block party. But I mean, like, was it like, I'm assuming people were just like jam packed, and like I have the vibe there was that extra, let's just go crazy, even more so than normal, I think.
Oh my gosh, there was. There was an excitement in the air. I mean, especially for the first day, it was July 1st, which is Canada Day. A lot of our viewers are American, so happy July 4th, belated. But, it was a strange feeling because it was already a day of celebration naturally. But I was also celebrating, and everybody there was celebrating the return of live events. So it was like a double celebration, and it made it very unique. On the first day, the highlight performer was Roy Woods. Roy Woods is one of Drake's artists who's signed to OVO, one of the few artists signed to the label. So, the first day, it was quite a bit of a mix. It was sort of an R&B crowd and a bit of a DJ crowd, which I don't know if you guys have been to a show like that. I personally have never really seen that mix contained in such a small setting. Maybe at a bigger music festival, but I usually find that EDM is sort of sectioned off in its own thing. I don't know, Joe, if you've seen a lot of that.
It depends. Like I'm used to seeing the big Tomorrowland craziness, you know, in the middle of the desert and massive crowds. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. I agree.
Could you repeat that though? You said the EDM was not the main stage. Is that what you said?
No, I mean, EDM was the beginning of the night, and the main event, the headliner of the night was Roy Woods. So it was sort of a mix of people who just wanted to rave, and then a mix of people who were sort of more of an R&B crowd. You know, a lot of girls in nice dresses. Roy Woods always brings the ladies out. So it was a cool event. But when he came on, Roy Woods was actually wearing an Oilers jersey, which was really cool. So he was representing Edmonton. I know Frank is probably going to chuckle at that because of what just happened with hockey, but that's okay. You know what was really weird about Roy Woods' set was, and a lot of the rappers there, they had really high security. Actually, on the night of Roy Woods, he actually had Drake OVO security with him on site, which you're looking at now in our B-roll footage. And just look at this dude. He was a scary guy, man. I mean, listen, the one thing I will say about the OVO security, though, is that they're very professional. A lot of security like to abuse their power, like to get in people's face, scare them. These guys stand off to the side, but the second somebody gets out of line, they're in it. So
You're
intense.
Why do you think there was like extra, or it felt like there was extra security or
Extra precaution?
It's a good question. Actually, you know, I think that there's Edmonton, there's been some stuff that's happened potentially at past events that may have something to do with it. But, you know, maybe also due to the fact that, and I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't sure how people were going to react all being together in a setting like this, where, you know, for the people who aren't working, there's liquor involved, there's excitement involved, it's Canada Day. So maybe that's a factor.
Plus 15 months of a pandemic, not being able to go out, so you go a little crazier, you know, a little more.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah,
it's true. Sense. And looking at sports events in America, there's been a lot of fights that have been happening. So I was actually quite skeptical. But the one thing I noticed about this event for all 3 days, I didn't see a single fight. I didn't see a single person at odds, you know, couples, but no actual like physical fights. So I was actually very happy, not only with the crowd, but the way that it was set up and arranged. It was set up like, listen, come in, have a good time, and it's going to be a safe environment.
What time at night did everything wrap up, or early morning?
It's as the days went on, it was later and later. So like for night one, we were pretty much done by around 11:30 at night. And then they decided to have an after party. I didn't even document the after party that night, but I definitely enjoyed Roy Woods. Day two was quite a bit different. We went from the sort of EDM, DJ / R&B side to more of the trap, hard rap side. So the first artist that performed on day two was Kripal. And Kripal is a local artist, one of the biggest artists out of Alberta. And we actually got the chance to chat with Kripal, really brief chat. Now, guys, we did this like a sports interview, like when the dude comes off the court side, just a couple quick questions. So let's get into that real quick with Kripal. We're out here Mojo TV at the summer block party. You already know what it is. Night Shift Entertainment with
Kripal, baby. Let's go.
What's happening, man?
How you doing, brother?
Hey, doing great. Listen, you killed your set today. I just wanted to know, what does it feel like for you to be back on stage after over 15 months?
Bro, you remember when you busted your first nut? Better than that.
Better than that. So
it's the best. Yeah, it's great. Honestly, man, I'm like a touring artist, so I travel a lot. I do a lot of shows, and this 15 months is too long to go without performing. So it feels great, man. It's great.
What was the feeling like? Like, was there anything you didn't expect when you were up there, or was it sort of as expected?
I didn't expect to lose my breath so easy.
Got you. I
quit smoking cigarettes. I did a bunch. Well, I guess I'm on the vape, but you know what I mean? That was the hardest part, was like, we rehearsed for weeks and weeks every day leading up to this, and I still lost my fucking breath and my voice. But other than that, man, it was, the crowd was hype. It was nice.
Awesome, man. And listen, moving into the upcoming performances, what types of concerts or festivals do you have on your bucket list to do?
Bucket list? Oh, man, I want to do the big ones, man. Coachella, Lollapalooza. But realistically, I just want to go on tour again. To be able to just hit the road, different city. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to the most, is interacting with all the fans that have kind of been sitting. Everybody's been sitting stagnant for how long? So
Crazy.
I just want to hit all these cities that I've been to and reconnect with the people that support me. So that's probably the biggest thing.
You know, I have to say, in a weird way, one of the favorite interviews I've ever done, what you just saw there with Kripal. 3 questions, but I realized, like, this was his first time being interviewed in 15 months as an artist, and my first time in 15 months out in the field doing an interview in person. So like it was, again, guys, when I say like it was a weird thing on my mind, I really mean it.
Yeah, so
sure.
I can imagine, man. It's like I can't wait to be at my first show. Like honestly, I'm excited about it.
Just like you said, like it was your first time interviewing, his first time being interviewed. As the days went on, I mean, here, let me pose this question first. Is it fair to say that Roy Woods was the biggest name here? Is he the biggest name, or was there someone else? I don't want to misspeak.
No, I think Roy Woods would be the biggest name. He was not the biggest draw, though. The biggest draw was actually day 3, to be honest. But
that kind of leads into my question. Like, was day 1 really like a testing out period, a feeling out period for everyone involved, artists, production crew, even attendees, like guests? Was day 1 really like, oh, let's test the waters here, and then as that finished, day 2, day 3, everyone became more comfortable?
That's a good way to put it. With the exception of the comfort factor. The comfort factor was there immediately, and that was something that really, again, shocked me. Like, not only was there not fights, but I personally was not that comfortable. I actually had a bit of a time adjusting to everything that was going on, but everybody around me seemed to be very, very comfortable, and maybe there was a different mind state going on. But it seemed like they were just ready to get released into a fun environment. And day 2 was quite a different crowd too. I found day 2 to be interesting because the thing about EDM and DJ sets and even R&B is that it's a lot more of an open environment. It's a lot more like everybody's kind of welcome and we're all just here to have fun. When it comes to the trap and like artists of this sort of caliber, there's a lot of people that are there for status reasons, a lot of people that are there just to look cool. So that the audience was a little different, I gotta say, for this one.
Okay, and then as we move on later in the night on day 2, you have Forever Friday, Killy, who and then excuse me, I can't.
88 Glam.
88 Gram.
Oh, 88 Glam.
Yes.
Okay,
so Forever
cool,
Friday came in, one of the top artists from Edmonton, really making waves in the worldwide scene. I've been watching sort of the stuff that he's doing. He was good. The thing that I'm not crazy about on a lot of these artists was there's a lot of backing tracks being used. Personally, I would have liked to hear a lot more live singing, and that's not a shot at anybody in particular, but this was definitely a day that was more auto-tuned, so it was a bit of a different flavor. I gotta say though, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna interject. Like, personally, being a musician or having always heard drums, real live drums, for me, live. Having these guys do hip hop or trap with a real band would give so much more energy. Because you imagine the energy of Rage Against the Machine backing someone like up front like that. That would be great. But maybe it's a logistics thing, right? Because then you have that many more extra people to deal with, contend with, and pay and all that stuff. So maybe it's like, hey, first one out of the gate. But by no means does this look like it was an easy thing to put together. This is like 3 days of events. So like there's a lot of organization on this, So
it was huge.
Kudos that, like you said, it was no fights, no issues, no nothing. That's Canadian of us.
Yeah, seriously. No, it was good that we had to keep our reputation, and shout out to Night Shift and Boudang because they were just such incredible professionals through all of this. I one of the things that really struck me was there was a couple microphone issues that happened and little things throughout the night, but I realized like this is everybody's first thing back, so like everybody could be a lot rustier than they were. The security was on top of it. The promoters were on top of it. On day 2, there was actually a sudden weather change when 88 Glam came on. Basically, the sky turned orange, and there was like a dust storm that happened. And it started kicking up, right at the end of 88 Glam. So then they ended up moving the event inside. So they managed to pull all of this off without causing pandemonium, which was really impressive.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What was your standout for that day? Let's say July 2nd, basically.
To be honest, 88 Glam, I think they brought the strongest performance. They had a hype man who was like a third guy just running in front of the crowd as we can see, and just getting everybody really hyped. And, a lot of the artists, they didn't have that interaction with the crowd. Again, it seemed like a lot of them were just trying to look cool up there. They didn't really want to look at the crowd or talk to them. And these guys were like in the crowd and going crazy. So I really, really like that. Killy was an artist that he was the headliner of the night. Now, Killy, you know, again, when I comment on these guys, it's nothing personal, because when a sportscaster comments on LeBron James and says he doesn't like his, you know, the way he's throwing the ball, nobody says the sportscaster's a hater. But in the world of music, if you say something about an artist, you're a hater. Well, I'm an analyst. Killy is frequently late for his shows. I know that this, and I'd like to get you guys' opinion on this in a second. I know that this makes a lot of people sort of feel cooler or whatever. I don't like it when you're late for your show.
I was just having this conversation when I am going way back here when Guns N' Roses and Metallica played in Montreal at the Big O.
Yes.
And then James Hetfield got burned because he was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and the pyrotechnics went off. So the show ended up being canceled a bit earlier because the guy's on fire, basically. So, I mean, you know, you can't really play.
You were at that show?
Yeah, but then what's worst part is you have Guns N' Roses. It was Faith No More, Metallica, Guns N' Roses co-headlining, right? And then again, Guns N' Roses comes on an hour and a half later than they were even supposed to.
Right.
So you have like
even
40,
with
50,
James Hetfield being hurt.
Exactly. And you have 40, 50,000 people just like pissed off, and it was a huge riot, you know. And to Metallica's credit, they came back and they did 2 shows, or they did like basically, because now they did it at the Bell Center, I think. So they ended up doing those shows. So kudos on that band.
I don't know,
But
man.
anyway.
You gotta just think that this is their profession. Like,
That's
you've
it,
got to
man.
be professional. You've got
It
to
kinda
be
turns me
there,
off.
punctual. Like, people are paying to see you, dude. You're not the reincarnation of some type of god here. Like, people are paying big money to see you. Show up at the right time so that it doesn't affect other people's schedules. Like, imagine families, especially with like young kids, like you have to wait an extra hour. That means a further hour for you to get home later the next day. Like, it's disrespectful to the people who come to pay.
It is to a degree, and the people working.
Stuff happens. We all get that, but like when it's consistent, like you know, it's on purpose ish. You know, it's a real bummer. Especially like, imagine like, you've driven to another city to go watch this artist, and they're late or they're canceled. You know, because they don't feel like it or whatever. Yeah, that really. Oof.
Yeah, one of the security guards came over and she was like, you know, we're reaching the 2-hour mark of waiting, and she's like, "Oh, I've missed this," sort of sarcastically.
2 hours for Killy.
Roughly, yeah, roughly.
So
roughly
there was
2
just
hours.
no shows happening.
No, there was
For
just
2 hours.
music playing. And again, I don't know the reasons. I could receive a text tomorrow and say, "Oh, we were waiting on a bus full of lights or whatever." But you know, frankly, I could see the artists. You know, they were there and they were just hanging out. You know, so I don't know what was going on. But again, this is just my analysis. There's nothing personal inside of this. But yeah, so Killy finally takes the stage. Now I've seen Killy before. I actually got to see him out in Florida. He's a very energetic performer. He's one of those guys that, you know, his energy will get you going. In terms of his music, it's very much auto-tune. You know, it's sort of a type of music that I'm not really aware of, but it makes people happy. So yeah, that night,
trap with auto-tune stuff. I mean, that's kind of like at this point, it's, I guess we can genreify it as a trap there, but I mean, it's pretty much pop. Because that's pretty much what everybody's doing at this point, right? Auto-tuning. It's not even to correct anymore the pitch. It's literally an effect. So it's like a guitar going through an amp with a whammy, like a Pantera or whoever, you know, where they're going, wah, wah, whatever. You know, U2 used it. It's more of an effect. So when it comes to that, I find it becomes a more of a personal preference. You either like it or you don't. You know, to me, it doesn't bother me. It becomes part of the it's part of the style. So it doesn't. I don't.
This is off tangent here. You ever see the video of T-Pain? I don't know. He was getting interviewed by someone. I don't even know the publication, but it was in an interview setting, like professionally. You know, there was a backdrop. He was sitting on a table, and the reporter or the interviewer asked him, "Hey, I heard you were on a plane once with Usher, and you had a conversation. What happened?" And he just he was hit by a rock. Like he was hit by a wall, I mean. And he's like, yeah, I was on this plane. We were going to some location, and Usher pulled me aside, and I thought I'm just gonna have this cool conversation with Usher, a guy who I look up to and admire. And he told T-Pain, "You really screwed up the music industry for actual singers."
Whoa, that's really harsh words from Usher.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So anyways, T-Pain went on to. But dude, have you seen T-Pain sing? Beautiful
that's what I was gonna say. He does have a wonderful voice, and you know, I think the auto-tune stuff.
But see, auto-tune.
And that's what I mean. It's an effect.
Misconstrued with having poor voices, and that's probably valid. That's probably true.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
artists make up for their lack thereof of vocals with autotune, but I'm sure there's a small percentage of people who actually do sing well, but just want that like extra flair to their music that their voice
100%.
can't provide.
Well,
right?
Usher should have gone and talked to Cher, because she was the one, or who her producers were the ones who started that whole auto-tune craze. In what is that song called again? Believe in Love. You know, that's the Cher song that has
With
that
Cher,
effect.
yeah, Life After Love or something like
That's
that.
it. That's it. So like you have that song, and then T-Pain came in and brought it into because that's what I noticed. There was a huge shift from hip hop rap, right? It's the 50 Cent days, and and then Usher was more of a singer guy, and then all of a sudden everybody became a singer-ish. You know, it became more pop songs than just hip
There's
hop
even
songs.
Akon, right? Similar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's what I'm
absolutely.
saying. So
that was the beginning. Lil Wayne was a major one with Lollipop when it came
That's
out.
it. So like it became like it's interesting because they took over pretty much pop, you know, like and EDM was starting to really creep in again with Gaga and all that stuff, and then like the trap just really took it apart, you know, like
Took over. So, you know, the most important thing for me was that people were happy. You know, everybody in that building was smiling ear to ear, and that's really all I want to see.
All right, Cassius. So we'll move along here to the last day of the Union Hall 2021 event, summer block party. Excuse me. What was your takeaway from the last day? Obviously, you had the Funk Hunters, which I saw your videos of. That the crowd seemed very into it when they were performing. Also, Sticky Buds. Excuse me. So, what was the last day like?
Man, the last day was, and you know, I was talking to the media rep, shout out to Rosa at Night Shift, and she even said she thought that this day was the best day of the entire three. Day one was almost fully packed to the back of the outdoor venue. Day two was about halfway packed. Day three was fully packed. It was all the way to the back. All the EDM people were out in full force. And I realized this is my third day at this event, but this is still people's first concert back. So it was like 3 days of people's first concerts back. So the excitement was very, very much in the air. You know, day three was on a Saturday since the weekend started on a Thursday. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Sticky Buds was, you know, very good. Awesome DJ. This day didn't have the live music element as much, though, for me, I gotta say. You know, a day of DJs, that's cool. It was a different flavor, but it wasn't as much live. But, guys, I gotta tell you, I had a crazy moment, and
Let's go.
this moment was
Let's go.
insane. Yeah, let's go. So I'm shooting, and for a lot of this footage that you guys have been seeing, you know, a lot of it I was on the actual stage. So, like, I had a lot of crazy access. And the Funk Hunters just dropped a song with Rouger, who is an artist who's been on Inner Sleeve before. And me and Rouger have actually known each other since we were like little kids, like to the point where like we were super, super young. So like I've known this dude forever. The Funk Hunters just dropped their song with Zaboria, aka Rouger. And I'm standing there and all of a sudden I see him on the screens everywhere. So I'm like filming for SoundMojo. I'm like, okay, the crowd's reacting to Rouger. So I FaceTime Rouger, and I was actually in the photo pit, and he got to see firsthand how the crowd was reacting to his song. So it was a very special moment, having known the dude for so long, seeing him come up. Now he's a singer, he's on stage. It was like, man, I can't believe to see this guy do what he's doing. So
That's cool.
it was a crazy moment.
Wow, that's cool. Super talented dude. Like, I know I've been watching him on Instagram and stuff, and like, I love what he does. It just also brings me. I was gonna ask before: are there any other like unannounced guests, artists that were there? Like you weren't expecting Rouger.
No, well, he was just on the screens. That's the thing. So like it was one of those things where like he was performing there, but he wasn't actually there, type of thing.
Okay.
But I gotta say, like, that was the most unexpected thing for me. And Rouger's song with the Funk Hunters was the biggest song of the night for the Funk Hunters. I mean, the crowd went absolutely ballistic. The other cool thing was afterwards they decided to throw the after party with the Funk Hunters and Sticky Buds. So then you had both of them on stage. Powerhouse, I think, from the BC area. So, you know, anybody who was an EDM fan, this was pretty much straightforward, cut and dry, what you would expect and what you'd want for an EDM night.
So overall, you think
Overall,
shows
honestly,
are back or what?
If they aren't back now,
Holy
then
cow.
I must have dreamt this.
Encouraging. It's encouraging.
Yeah.
Totally.
it's
But I got to
incredible.
tell you guys, this event was better than I expected.
Good.
Not because I didn't think it was going to be good, but because I thought it was going to be rusty. They really seem to have worked out the kinks. and it just feels really good to be back, man. Felt awesome.
We're back.
Yeah, it was good to see. It was good
We're
to see.
back.
Like it was good to see you running around backstage, running around in the front, being on stage. That was really. I miss those days too. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So what we want to know from you guys, obviously this is just the tip of the iceberg. What event do you want SoundMojo to cover next? We obviously want to bring you guys the best content. Where do you want to see us? Do you want to see us on a Coachella? Do you want to see us on a music festival on Mars? Where do you want to see SoundMojo? Let us know in the comments. And I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to know from the audience.
But you covered
all right.
it, man. Let's
Yeah,
have a
you pretty
discussion
much
in the
covered it.
comments section. Let's leave it.
Let's do it. We'll save it for there. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Catch you next week.